Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery and Mastery PR, and I've got a special guest on with me today. It's Steve Olsher. Steve is going to be launching a product at the end of this month called Push Button Influence, and I am really looking forward to it, and I'm fortunate enough to get a few minutes of his time. I'm sure he's very busy. So, hey, Steve, how are you?
Good, my man. How you doing?
Very good, very good.
Good.
So, just quickly, I know you're kind of in a rush, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions about push button influence and what brought you and Alex together to decide to develop this product. Give us a little bit of background about how it came together and why you think it's important for people to become an influencer.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I've known Alex now for a number of years. Alex Mandozian has actually been an online marketing expert since '95. I think is when he first got online, and so we've danced in a number of the same circles over the years because I've owned Liquor.com since 1998 and actually launched on CompuServe's Electronic Mall in 1993. And
Wow.
so he approached me about 8 months ago or so with an idea that I liked the idea, but I thought there were ways that we could probably make it a little bit better and talk to him about what those ideas were. And basically, long story short, he liked the ideas so much, and I liked the ideas so much that we decided, hey, why don't we just do this thing together? And so that's really how the origin story. That's how Push Button Influence was born. And so for the last 8 months or so, we've been working solely on this. And really, Push Button Influence is all about teaching people how to attain massive visibility at virtually no cost, and that is done by leveraging the power of new media.
Yeah. So, like, for example, what we're doing right now, which is a live broadcast via Google Hangouts, that would be considered new media, correct?
Yeah, pretty much everything that is not radio or TV or print, that sort of thing. That certainly constitutes new media, from podcasting to blogging and live streaming, even to live audio, and then apps, and of course social media. Yeah.
Very good. And so, what is it about becoming an influencer that you guys can teach? And I guess what I'm trying to convey is to anybody watching this that would, what type of tips can you give out about why the importance of becoming an influencer and becoming a new media influencer? And what was it, a SME, subject matter expert, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, look, reality is that most people are in commodity-oriented businesses. Very few have the market all to themselves. So whether you like it or not, you're in a commodity-oriented business, no matter what it is. If you're an SEO expert, if you're a massage therapist, whatever it might be, there are other people who do what you do. So the core question then becomes, how do you differentiate yourself from those other people, so that not only do you become, well, of course, credible, but also how do you become seen as the authority in that space, so that people think about you when they think about that particular market. And then, more importantly, how do you get to the point where you have the ability to push a button and make something happen for those people who really are those you're most compelled to serve? So it's really about reach, it's about exposure, it's about visibility, and most importantly, it's about controlling the process. Because when you look at old media, there were gatekeepers, man. If you wanted to be on radio, if you wanted to be on TV, you had to pass a lot of muster before you could get, the green light.
You had to
And
know
now,
somebody.
well,
Yeah.
you had to know somebody, or you had to pay somebody, or,
Yeah.
whatever it might have been. And frankly, a lot of that exposure was relegated to those who had pretty deep pockets. So the nice thing about new media, as you know, is it's really leveled the playing field for all of us. And the barriers to entry have been greatly reduced. But that's a double-edged sword, right? Because now that anyone can get in the game, it means that anyone can get in the game. So the question then further becomes, how to differentiate yourself from those who are in your space and are giving this whole new media thing a try. But look, at the end of the day, there's room for everyone. And what I know without a shadow of a doubt is that we're still very much in the embryonic stages here of where this whole movement is going. And even a year from now, things are going to look very, very different. And if you wait to get into the game, you're going to kick yourself.
So start carving out your own section of it now.
Start carving out your own section of it now. Start getting into the game now. Start picking really that primary platform, that new media platform that you want to leverage, and commit to it. Because I think what we have found, and I know what we have found, is that people get distracted by all of these shiny objects, right?
Yeah.
And so even in the new media space, there's a lot of options. So the question is, what platform do you pick? What do you do on that platform? How do you really differentiate yourself from others on that platform? And most importantly, how do you leverage the medium to drive traffic? And of course, once you drive traffic, you get clicks. And once you get clicks, you get conversations. And once you get conversations, you usually get enrollments.
And you get influence.
And you get influence, of course, yeah.
All right, so one other question, because I know this will be coming up, is will this work for any industry?
It's interesting. I put it to you this way. One of the most popular podcasts, and I'm not trying to beat the horse on podcasts, but I have a podcast that does very, very well. And folks that I know who have literally started from scratch have podcasts that get hundreds of thousands of downloads each and every month. And of course, just kind of going back to the email marketing scenario, and email is not completely dead. It's certainly on its way out. It's certainly dying. But we have found unequivocally that 1,000 audience participants is worth about 20,000 email subscribers.
Wow.
And so, the numbers are nuts. And I mean, the reasons why. But what I was going to tell you is that one of the most popular podcasts that I don't get it, because I don't understand why anybody would tune in and listen to this thing. But it's about fly fishing. And it's like, so what do these guys do? They stand there and they talk to each other about, okay, I'm casting it in the water. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm casting again in the water. It's like, what on earth could you talk about? And yet it's one of the most popular podcasts there are, because if you find that niche and you know who your audience is, and if you serve them well and you entertain them and you educate them, the word spreads very quickly within that community, and it doesn't take a lot of people to really move the needle.
You develop an army of advocates.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I really appreciate your time. Can you tell us a little bit about when the product is launching? Any news about the launch and the how people can get it and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so it's March 20th is the kickoff, and we've actually done a fairly expedited launch here, because it's a cart close of April 6th. So we don't have, we're not doing this 6-month launch kind of thing where it just keeps going and going and going. This is a March 20th through April 6th launch, and it's a 1997, which is a 1,997 product, and we're paying 40% as the base on that, and up to 50%. Depending on performance. So at the very least, you're looking at about $800 on each sale.
Very cool. Well, we have a lot of people in our audience that are going to be jumping on, most likely as an affiliate as well. So we encourage everybody to check out Push Button Influence. I can speak from having access to review the product. These guys are good. I'm actually learning a lot that I'm going to be applying to our own audience and to my own level of influence. So I really appreciate your time today, Steve. Any parting words?
Here's what I know, which is you have something within you that people are literally waiting for you to share. So, there are people who are literally waiting for you to show up in their life right now, and you are the solution to someone else's problem. So when you hold that within, you're not only doing a huge disservice to yourself, but you're doing a huge disservice to those who are waiting for you. And a lot of people talk about, I just don't have the budget to reach, and I don't have those deep pockets, etc. Believe me, when you get into this game, your people will find you. You don't have to go out and find them. It's a much different dynamic.
That's awesome. Great advice. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We will see you on the inside of Push Button Influence.